Josh writes in to Beyond at ign.com and says, Beyond. Since someone probably brought it up, what's the big deal about The Last Guardian? I don't really understand why everyone is so excited for it. I'm assuming it's mostly from their experience playing Shadow of the Colossus. It wasn't that impressive of a trailer either. Can you go over why people constantly say this is one of their most anticipated games, even though we haven't heard or seen anything about it since 2009 or whatever year it was?
I mean,
thanks, Beyond, Josh.
He answered his own question. Like, Shadow of the Colossus was one of the most special games ever made.
Yeah.
So I think that whatever that team was going to do next, everyone was going to want to be a part of. And sure, the trailer wasn't technically groundbreaking. It didn't necessarily showcase anything gameplay-wise that would make people go, oh my god, that's a game that I need to play. But knowing the DNA of the team and what they're capable of from a narrative and atmosphere standpoint, I think that the trailer at least promised us that we can expect just as much magic and sentiment from The Last Guardian as we got out of Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. So that's really it's not a complicated answer. Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is the reason why. That was a special game, and we want to see what a special team can do to follow it up with better hardware.
I don't know how old Josh is, but it'd be similar to if after Last of Us, there was no Uncharted 4 trailer, or there even is the Uncharted 4 trailer, but mainly there's a new IP trailer that they put out, right, that Naughty Dog puts out, this studio that just put out this perfect 10 game that everyone loves and thinks changed acting and did all this different stuff, and then goes quiet for a generation. Yeah. And there's all this turmoil. This actually sounds a lot like Uncharted 4. Yeah. But there's all this turmoil behind the scenes. You want to know what is happening. Is that vision still intact? How is what's made Shadow of the Colossus special still going to be in this game, even though it's years later and so many people have come and gone? Like, at first it was totally people were into it because of Shadow of the Colossus and what Team Ico does, right? And now it's totally because what the fuck has happened for all these years? What has been going on, and what is that final game going to look like now?
Yeah, I think I'm interested in it for different reasons than a lot of people are interested in it. When The Last Guardian was announced, it was 2009. First of all, interesting little tidbit, Ryan Clement saw that game running. So he's one of the only people, I think, in the entire world outside of Sony that's ever seen the actual game.
For the NGP reveal, which would later become the PlayStation Vita.
And he saw someone played the game for him. So like he actually saw the game was running, and that's an amazing little tidbit. But so cool. To me, the game is fascinating because something went terribly wrong at Team Ico. Yeah. And what's so interesting when people ask about my Naughty Dog piece or my Santa Monica history, whatever, like, we have access to these studios. We know Neil and Bruce. We know, Shannon at Sony Santa Monica. We can ask them questions, and sometimes they won't answer them, but at least we have the opportunity to sit down and try to ask them questions and meet them every so often, and they're always very friendly. And I've been to Studio Japan, and we don't, I spent some time there, and I know some people there, but we don't have that kind of access to that team. And what I always think about is Famitsu or 4Gamer or one of these studios. They fucking know what happened, and they know people at those studios. And there's an interesting story behind The Last Guardian that I suspect will be more interesting and better than the game. And, it to me, with Ueda and all the talent at Team Ico at the time, it seems to me that they fell apart. And we don't have confirmation of that because we don't have access to those developers, and those developers are a little more quiet in Japan, and it's a little more traditional, it's a little more prideful. They're not going to tell stories like that, or if they do, they tell them off the record at a bar with their friends or whatever. So I'm more interested in The Last Guardian because I want to know how the fuck a team has taken 9 years and not put out a game and still exist. That's to me, and they're in that building in Studio Japan, at Studio Japan, and they're doing something, but they haven't put out a game. Like I've always said to people, imagine Shadow of the Colossus came out in 2005. I was like a sophomore in college when that game came out. Yeah. I'm 29 years old, and that game and their next game is still not out. And not only that, but they still insist that it exists and that it's going to come out. So to me, I'm more interested in it in a scholarly way. There's a story behind that game, and whoever gets it, I hope it's me. I wish it was me, but I don't care who gets it. I want someone to tell me what went wrong at that studio and what happened, because what clearly happened, in my opinion, was they had the game, it wasn't working. They got rid of Ueda, and brought him back. There's a lot of drama behind the scenes, and they spent, no doubt, tens of millions of dollars on this game. So why not just pull the plug? Maybe it's because they see something really special in it. And I think now's the time. Yeah. They've been very, the last year, 18 months, ever since PS4 was revealed, they keep saying, it exists. The game's in development. And I got to take them at their word. Why would Shuhei and all those guys, Scott Rhodey and all those guys, say that it was in development if it wasn't? I think
because Rhodey's a liar.
But I think the time is now. I think that game is ready to go soon, and I think they've just been keeping it quiet because they understand that they got bit in the ass when they revealed it 18 months to 2 years ahead of when it was supposed to come out, and they realized that was a huge mistake. So I care about it because it's fucking fascinating.
Yeah,
I could be totally fine never playing The Last Guardian. All I want to know is I want to be a fly on the wall of that studio, and the tumultuous nature of what was going on there, because there's no way, and those guys are artists, and there's no way that something didn't go wrong. You know what I mean? So that's why I care.
What if you just evaporated and then all of a sudden you were a fly on the wall in that studio and that was your one wish? That'd be fucked up.
I couldn't wish my way out.
No, it's stuck. You're stuck there. That's it.
So I know the story, but I can't tell anyone.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
You fly back here somehow, and then you just go to each key on my keyboard, and I have to type it out real slowly.
It takes years first.